Okay, hello. This is Brian from Bryan Lomax Movie Talk. I'm joined by CP from Will I Like It Reviews and Lee from Drumdums. We're here to discuss parts 5 to 8 of the Friday the 13th franchise. Just thank you for joining us, everyone. Sorry, I'm just, as per usual, looking at 20 different monitors on my screen, so I'm a bit distracted. We'll just close that down, and boom, there we go. Right. Just introductions out of the way first. Lee, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, yeah.
Hello.
What's up? From Adams. I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Brian. I love talking horror.
Did I didn't hear him. Is that me or?
I didn't hear you then, Lee. You kind of.
Lee, do it again.
Oh, you want me to do it again?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I didn't hear you.
All right, here we go. This is Lee from Drumdums. Right now, I'm right in the middle of reviewing all these. So, yeah, I just finished Friday, and I'm on Nightmare now. So, anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to talking Friday, 5 through 8. Here we go. Let's do this.
Now, do the first one again.
The first one was better, wasn't it?
It had more feeling.
Yeah, it did. What's more with feeling?
CP, you're up. Go on.
Hi, guys. CP, Will I Like It Reviews. I'm really excited to talk about one of these. That's really all I can say.
I like talking about the bad ones.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm a fan. I can't.
It creates more discussion. And on that note, possibly the worst of this bunch. I don't know. We'll find out as we go on.
Mm-hmm.
Is part 5. I believe it's got. That's not the New Blood, is it? Which one's
New Beginning?
Called? New Beginning. That's it.
Yeah.
It's a new something. I know that. Yeah, this is a new beginning. Which, it's it's got some issues, hasn't it, guys?
Yeah, it does.
Let's just go straight to the elephant in the room. Jason Voorhees isn't the killer.
Boom.
Yeah.
Spoiler talk.
Boom. Spoiler talk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just for in case anyone was wondering, this is going to be full-on spoiler talk. If you haven't seen these films, I won't be hanging around.
Yeah, like, what are you doing
I think you want to start with 5 first. First of all, what are you doing?
Oh man. I just know there's going to be some comments. So, why did you ruin this film for me? Believe me, we're saving the trouble of having to watch it. Consider it a blessing. Yeah, just, my first thoughts of this film is that I liked the idea of actually bringing back Tommy from part 4 and essentially making him the Jamie Lee Curtis character of the Friday the 13th franchise.
Yep.
Giving us someone that from movie to movie we can identify with. So that, I don't know, so you do have this hero of the franchise, I guess. But they just really messed it up with this one.
Yeah.
Really messed it up. Lee, go on. Give us your thoughts on why you think they messed this up.
First off, Jason's not in it. That's the biggest no-no you can do. And it seems like every horror franchise does this with at least one of their movies. Doesn't it seem like that? I don't. If the well is working, why walk away from it? But all right. My opinion on part 5. It's not my least favorite, believe it or not. But I'll save that for when we get to my least favorite.
Ooh.
Which you could probably guess.
Tease? That's a tease.
Yeah. But, yeah, I think leaving Jason out of it was a huge mistake. One thing I liked about it, though, is they still tried to make it a slasher, a serial killer. At least they didn't, say, hey, let's make it Friday the 13th without a killer. You know what I mean? Like Halloween did. I'll give it that, but it's got so many things wrong with it. The characters are just horrible and annoying, even. W.C. Voorhees might be the best thing about this movie, for obvious reasons. Yeah, there's just not a lot of good about Part 5.
See, I'm not completely adverse to the idea of not having Jason Voorhees in there because it's not unprecedented. He wasn't. He wasn't the killer in the original Friday the 13th. But it's just the guy they get to replace him.
Yeah.
Is his story is so badly written. His motives for doing what he does so thin that it just makes the payoff so unsatisfying.
Yeah, I think you're right, Brian. I think if they would have had a good story with good characters, then yeah, Jason wouldn't have mattered as much because you do have a killer there, so you got like a twist ending. So if everything before that twist ending was like riveting, then yeah, it wouldn't have mattered. But unfortunately, everything before that twist ending is pure and utter crap.
I think of the Scream films, and I think of the idea that actually the mask itself is the antagonist. It doesn't matter who you put under there. That's the scare. That's the monster, so to speak. Because if you look at the Scream films, every film has got a different killer or killers. So it can work when it's done properly. It's just this script is just like this guy. I mean, come on, his motives for becoming this Jason ripoff. He kills all these kids who, for some reason, he deems responsible for the death of the son that he loved so much he never bothered to actually get in contact with. But on top of it, he doesn't even kill the one guy who is solely responsible for that son's death.
I know.
It's almost like they tried to mirror part one because, Pamela was killing all the counselors because they let her boy drown. But it's like you said, it's not even the same. I mean, his boy was literally murdered, like single-handedly murdered by one guy. So it's just like, all right, what? I mean, you're trying to do the parallel. I see it, but it doesn't really fit here.
Well, if you remember when we discussed the last few films, and I thought that the mistake of that first film was bringing Mrs. Voorhees in so late.
Right.
Well, here they kind of fix that. They bring in the suspects very early on, but the way they signpost it and the way, like I say, they set up his motives is just so poorly done that you just don't care. And as soon as that mask comes off, you're like, seriously, this guy, this is how he's.
Well, this one has more kills than any other movie too, and I think that's part of the problem too because it's like they said, every 10 minutes, let's get a fresh pair of breasts and let's get a kill in there.
Well, the director was a softcore porno maker, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
I mean, that explained a lot in the movie. I mean, it
really does.
TNA blood, TA blood, TA blood, TA blood, TA blood.
As long as you've got very tenuous links stringing the scenes together, that's fine. It's like that's the mindset of this filmmaking process for this film. It's so bad.
I mean, it's showtime in the bathroom. That's that's just obligatory. Now listen, I enjoy breasts as much as the next heterosexual male, but it's showtime. Come on, listen. What is that? Who just does that in a mirror like that? That's so weird.
Also, the final girl in this she's like way down there on like most liked final girls in the Friday series.
Yeah.
I don't even remember her name, and I reviewed it not too long ago. That's how forgettable she is.
Yeah. I consider Tommy the final girl for 4, 5, and 6. I'm sorry.
Pretty much, yeah. True.
Yeah. What do you think of the actor here who plays Tommy?
Least favorite.
Yep.
Out of the three, easily the least favorite. I didn't think he was a good actor to begin with, and I'm not going to fully blame him because that story and the characters that worked around him aren't interesting at all. So he didn't really have much to play with. He wasn't that great of an actor anyway, so he was pretty much dead from the get-go.
Corey Feldman wanted to come back and do this. They got him for a scene, and his agent's like, "You're shooting the Goonies. We're not doing this." And Corey Feldman wanted to do Friday 5. Can you
Corey
imagine?
Feldman's only part in the movie was rain machine in front of his face and him doing this the whole
in
time.
his backyard. They shot that in his backyard.
Yeah.
Just to get him in there. It's so weird. Can you imagine playing Corey Feldman in that movie? Oh, poor kid.
Man.
Yeah, he was too young anyway.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. The Part 5 guy is the least memorable. Like, just show scary eyes and look like you're really weirded out and afraid, and you're kind of crazy at the same time. Just Part 6 is. Let's just get there already, please. better Tommy, better everything.
All right, moving on. We'll go to Part 6. Jason Lives. Though I will say, I think the actor who plays Tommy in Part 5 is actually better than the actor who plays him here in Part 6.
Oh yeah, Tom Matthews.
Yeah, he was in Return of the Living Dead too.
Absolutely.
The guy from Part 5?
No, Part 6.
Tommy from Part 6 was...
No. I think you misheard me. I'm saying I think the actor who played him in Part 5 is a better actor than the guy who played him here.
We disagree on that one, Brian.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
I'm
it's
intrigued.
Entirely down to the fact that the script for Part 6, the film as a whole for Part 6, is so universally better in every way than Part 5 that the guy who plays Tommy here has clearly got much more to work with. But there are times in this film where I swear he sounds like Derek Zoolander. Seriously. Next time you watch this film, listen to the intonation on his voice, and there's so many times where I was literally like, who is it this guy sounds like? And because
Derek Zoolander sounds like him.
Like, I walked out of Zoolander 2 last week because I couldn't take any more of it. And then I watched this, like literally about the day after I watched it. And there's a bit towards the end where he shouts something. And I just heard Derek Zoolander. So maybe that's just me, but next time you watch it, listen out for that.
I'm trying to think of it, because I've watched it at least 50 times in my life. I'm trying to think of what part of the movie you're thinking of. It's not the beginning. I gotta be sure. There's so many lines that I know.
It's usually when he's shouting. When he starts shouting something, it comes off as so...
What about when he's at the boat and he's screaming for Jason? Come on!
Yeah. Luther! Luther!
Oh, yeah. Right. That's how Zoolander talks? I haven't seen Zoolander in forever.
One thing
I think Tom Matthews did a good job. I think there's so much energy in Part 6, and he just gave a lot of energy to his performance. So I thought it kind of fit with, the overall tone of the movie. Whereas like Part 5, it just didn't. I don't know, just didn't have that energy that Part 6 did. So I can see why. I think the actor in Part 5 was just kind of lost.
Kind of quiet. Well, I mean, Ryan, explain what it is that you think about 5. 5's Tommy is better.
Just the fact, it's just, look, the guy has got nothing to work with. Nothing at all. But
so you're saying by default anybody in that part would have been better than Tom Matthews?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I think you take that actor from 5 and gave him the script from 6 and the direction from 6. I think he would have done more with it. I just think there were some moments in there, some subtleties through his performance, and I'm not talking. The guy ain't going to win any awards, put it that way. But,
right.
But neither's the guy from 6.
Oh, no, absolutely.
That's just what I feel. I just think if you take him, put him in that better film, he would be better in it. One thing I do have to point out is the appearance of Tony Goldwyn.
Oh, yes, from Ghost.
Tony Goldwyn,
Yeah, the guy's like, I really like Tony Goldwyn. He's a pretty decent director as well. He made a film called Conviction with Sam Rockwell in it.
Didn't he direct The Sixth Day too?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Yeah. It's I think Conviction's a better film, but.
Well, I'm just thinking popcorn because I watch popcorn movies and it's a lot easier.
He was also in The Last House on the Left remake.
Yeah, I think he was.
Mm-hmm.
He was really good in that.
I remember him as Sam Wheat from Ghost. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Sam Wheat. Say it, Sam Wheat.
Yeah. That's where I remember him from most. Ghost.
Yep.
That rhymed. I'm a poet and I didn't. It's something. Yeah, but just seeing him just pop up was just like. This is awesome. And
Dirty Harry, now stop it.
The woman with as well, because him and the woman that he's with who get killed, she really throws herself into that little part because
that's the director's wife.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because she's diving about in that muddy puddle for like, she's really throwing herself in there. So I appreciate.
Yeah, she almost got stabbed too.
Oh yeah.
So like really stabbed by that spear when Jason. Hits the spear through the window, it slips and goes this way, and it almost like impaled her.
Kill the director's wife.
Yeah, kill the director's wife.
Just one thing I love, and I wish.
One? What do you mean one?
One thing I'm going to talk about right now that I love, which I wish they'd have brought back for all the sequels. Is the Bond gun barrel sequence ripoff?
Yeah.
When he comes out like James Bond and slashes the screen, I was in. That's it. I was in. They had me. They had me at hello. But yeah,
the director said he wanted to have fun, and they were like, "Yeah, listen, that's fine. Just don't have fun with Jason." And he was like, "All right, well."
Yeah, Jason's completely serious.
Yeah.
It's got the best resurrection scene too, doesn't it?
Oh. I mean,
I love the resurrection scene.
It's sprinkled all over the place. That it's just nods of the cap and tips of the cap to Frankenstein. Just constant homages, whether it be the name of his store, just
Carpenter.
Yeah. It's just a bunch of nods and
Karloff. I mean, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
Easter eggs.
Sorry, we're geeking out. Brian.
We're geeking out.
No, it's all right.
6 is a fun movie, though. It really is, like, start to finish. It's just a blast. You know?
I'll go on record right now as saying this. So far, this one is my favourite of the franchise. I think 4 had some really well directed moments. Visually, it was a much bigger improvement on the previous films that had been before it.
Well, Zito's probably the most established director of all of them. I mean, he did a bunch of those canon movies. He did Invasion USA. I feel like he did one of those Chuck Norris movies too. And even though Invasion USA is a Chuck Norris movie.
Yeah. Well, he did The Prowler too.
Right. Did he do the Vietnam movie with Chuck Norris?
Probably. I'm not sure like his whole catalog, but I know a couple of movies that he's done.
I mean, he's a little more. I mean, listen, he's not Scorsese, but he's a little more.
He knows a few camera tricks.
Yeah.
But the guy from 6, just he just that it brings the fun. He recognizes just how absurd this franchise is, and he plays that up. He runs with it.
Tom McLaughlin, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Just another thing that I can't help but notice as well from this one is no nudity at all.
None. Only one that has no nudity.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like
shocking. And if you want to go into nudity talk, the girl that's in the camper, the RV, she was supposed to be in part 5 as Debussy Voorhees, and she had a no nudity clause, so that's how she didn't get that part, and she ended up in part 6.
Right.
But they did ask her. They asked her in part 6. They said, "Hey, would you mind taking your shirt off?" She's like, "Nope, my contract." All right, we tried.
Yep. She was kind of annoying, wasn't she?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know if the director at all has got any kind of like religious convictions or anything?
He's like a rock singer, or
Yeah.
isn't he like a rock singer
Yeah,
or
he's in like
something
a
like
goth
that?
band. Yeah, I don't think so.
Right. Okay.
Why do you ask that?
Just a few elements in the film, just like one being the complete lack of nudity. I mean, there is a sex scene in this, but there's no
Well, they
nudity.
tried. It's not like they didn't
Yeah,
try.
they did try.
And there's also the element of we have this little, it's kind of like a subplot with this little girl called Nancy. There's this bit where she's told that actually if evil comes and you pray, it'll
Go
God
away.
take it away, and then there's that scene where that's what she does, and then Jason's turned away for whatever reason. Like you can, I don't know, I guess you could look at it as just something that's a bit funny, or you could read,
Well,
divine
you're reading
intervention.
into it. I mean, if you want to read into it like that, I would assume maybe it's kind of a commentary on religion because Jason's hovering over her, and then bang, there's a door that slams outside, and that's what pulls him away. So I mean, you could look at it from your angle, but I could look at it as like, yeah, the only reason he left was because there was something else outside. So
Yeah, divine intervention.
Right,
Divine
okay,
intervention.
okay, all right, fair enough.
It's just that I don't know. I just
That is a good point, though. Yeah.
yeah. Obviously, I'm a person of faith, so I read that stuff into everything I watch.
Okay.
So it doesn't necessarily mean it's
interesting to
there.
hear.
But it's just like when things are in films, I think, oh, is there a reason for that beyond? Oh, this is just a bit of a laugh. But yeah, but certainly this is the most family-friendly Friday the 13th.
Gather the kids around the TV for Friday the 13th, Part 6.
And only part 6, though.
And only Part 6. Yeah, that's good.
Well,
Kids can probably watch this movie. It's you're actually right, Brian. Funny enough.
I did.
Yeah.
That's how I got into it. I was 5 or 6 years old and I watched this movie without permission, and it stuck.
His face isn't even really that scary in this one. Like in most of them, Jason's face is just horrendous. But 6 is probably like the most safe because it's so grayed out and skeleton-like.
Yeah.
You've seen 100 skeletons. So.
This was actually my introduction to the Friday the 13th series. This was the first one I watched when I was about 11 or 12 years old, and a friend from high school, I went round to his house and he was like, "You ever seen the Friday the 13th films?"
I think every kid can relate to that because Friday was always like, let's whisper it when we're talking about it. It's like a dirty, nasty movie or something like that. It's weird.
we watched.
It was the same thing with Part 3. Part I think when my cousin something, and he was like, "Let's watch Part 3. It's Friday the 13th." And I was like, "Okay," and I was scared, to death all the time. But yeah, it's always like this thing that you don't really want everybody to know when you're a kid, especially in the '80s, I guess.
It was the two we watched 2 back to back. I don't know why in particular he decided to do it. Well, actually, after seeing the next one, I do know why. But we watched Part 6 and Part 8 back to back. For some reason, he omitted Part 7, but we'll get there.
Weird.
And it was just like with some minor tweaks, Part 8 could almost be a direct sequel to Part 6 because it almost picks up in the same spot.
He ends up in the lake again.
Yeah, Jason's back down in the bottom of the lake and needs reviving. So I didn't quite understand when I first watched it all those years ago. Why is Jason? Why does Jason no longer have the chain around his neck while he's at the bottom of the lake? But anyway, we'll get to that when we get to Part 8.
Bye-bye, continuity. It was so nice knowing you here in Part 6. We'll see you later.
Going back to the... actually, I made a comment here. Well, hey, actual kids.
Yes, the
only one with
movie
kids.
to have kids in the whole series. Oh, it's a camp. You could tell because there's kids there.
And they weren't completely annoying.
Yeah. It was just, I just think McLaughlin is it his name? I really think he knew what he had on his hands. I think he knew what he was dealing with. I think he acknowledges a lot of the tropes of the franchise, a lot of the failings of the franchise, and he uses those to make humour. But when that school bus turns up and all these kids get out, you're like, oh, we're going there? Are we actually gonna terminate some kids in this film?
I think McLaughlin is one of the best directors of the series because he watched all 5 of them before, all the 5 previous ones, and by that time the franchise was getting pretty stale. And he was like, hey, what can I do to bring some fun into the series? Because, I mean, you can actually have a lot of fun with a Friday the 13th movie if you want to, if you direct it right. And that's what he did. He said, hey, I'm going to take the bull by the horns. I'm going to make Jason fun. And I'm not going to make it completely horrible. And, yeah, it is. It's definitely one of the best.
Well, Williamson, the writer of Scream, said he got a lot of his inspiration from this. I mean, you talk about the kids. The kids had some really, really funny punches, like the "What were you gonna be when you grew up?" Like that's just funny. Like
I was laughing. I'm serious. Yeah, I was laughing at the. And usually I don't laugh at the kids in a horror movie.
Yeah.
They were actually pretty fun.
Giving the kids the best lines. That's ballsy.
That is ballsy.
It was pretty funny when Jason goes walking past with the headless corpse, and poor little Nancy's seeing him just walking. One thing that kind of got on my nerves a little bit was why is Megan so trusting of Tommy, like right off the bat?
Because she's a teenage girl and she's impulsive and she's stupid and all that.
She digs him.
I think. I don't think the relationship between her and her father it's not fractured. It looks like a pretty decent relationship, and I think they could have fixed just that question of why is she so trustful of Tommy. I think they could have fixed that by actually making her relationship with her father a fractured one, so that we know actually it's not that she trusts him. She just really wants to annoy her father. She wants to get at him, and I think. If they'd have put that in there, I think it would have just improved it. I'm just looking for things that I think would improve this film, and I think that would be one of them. There's a few really good death scenes in this, I've got to say. One that I really like is when the face is pressed into the side of the van, and you see it.
Who doesn't love
see the
that?
Imprint come out.
The outline of the face.
Yeah, it's great.
That whole scene as well, again, it just shows a complete difference in the tone in this film, because it's actually a pretty decent action sequence, because we get like a van flip.
There's a genuine stunt.
Really big kind of car flip, like van flip.
That was John Travolta's nephew in that scene too, by the way.
Oh, was it?
Yep.
I liked that guy, actually. I thought he was funny.
Yeah, he was funny. He's actually a pretty decent actor too.
When he's driving and he's braking and that girl's going back into I said, this is some seriously bad driving, but it's hilarious.
I like the part where he's explaining to the kids,
the rocks?
He's talking about the rocks. Yeah. And I thought he handled his acting pretty well.
One thing I did notice about the 80s filmmaking, do the animal rights activists, when they're working with movies, do they not care about insects at all? Do we get a free pass on killing insects?
I think horror directors don't care
what insect are you referring to?
There's a moment when a deputy sheriff just crushes this.
Oh, yeah, the bug. Yeah.
Right up close on camera. And I was like, oh right. No animals were harmed in this film, but certainly some insects were. Are we
done talking about the kills? Because there's at least 2 that are pretty gruesome that we left out.
Oh yeah, please, get back to
the sheriff getting folded over on himself, like the Foley work on that.
That is a great kill. For some reason, I was thinking that was from part 7. I get that kill mixed up if it's in 6 or 7, but yeah, you're right. That was a good kill.
That's my favorite kill of this film, and probably my favorite of the franchise.
The visual alone is pretty gnarly, but then you get the
yeah,
it's just too much, man.
Especially the first time you see that kill.
It's actually as well. What another thing about this film that I like is that there are actually characters in it that I don't want to die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the sheriff being one of them. It's like usually you're literally rooting for Jason to kill these people, and in this case I wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of disliked the sheriff because he was just constantly like he hated Tommy, and Tommy actually had a valid point eventually in the film. Like
eventually, but like,
I thought the sheriff was kind of an idiot after a while.
I did. You got to see it from his standpoint. This guy is he's talking about a killer who's come back from the dead.
Yeah.
Years after he was buried, he gets to the gravesite, and the gravesite is it's not dug up. So you can't really blame the sheriff for thinking this guy's a few loops short of a basket. But
they could have killed his deputy instead. The deputy lives.
Yeah, great. I didn't think about that. Yeah, you're right.
He gets locked up.
One of his officers. This was a really gnarly moment, even more than the back. One of his officers gets killed. He gets his head crushed, and then when it gets back to the body, you see this snot all down the nose, and you're like, "Oh man, that's grim."
The sheriff actually bumps into his dead body looking for Jason or whatever.
Yeah, grim.
Wait till that one comes to 4K.
Oh. Yeah. We'll have to wait 10 years till 4K's out for that one to. Oh,
yeah, I know.
Paramount.
Megan actually gets her dad killed.
By screaming for him, yep.
Yeah. If she hadn't been screaming for him, he wouldn't have tried to wrestle down Jason, but there you go.
What about Jason's marksmanship? I mean, he could play for...
Man! Seriously, I'm reading my notes here, just as you said that. Jason, knife-throwing marksman.
Yeah.
That was my note.
I mean, he's got a flashlight in his eyes for starters. The guy's just, looking around with a flashlight, and the second he gets the flashlight, listen, get that guy a contract in baseball or something, because, wow.
He does that throughout the series. He does that throughout the series, though, doesn't he? There's so many times where he just becomes an expert marksman.
Yeah.
Like
he's kind of like the Rambo of the slashers.
Yeah.
Again, the sound effect work, you don't get that in the other ones. You hear the noise of the whatever the hell it was he threw at him. You hear it in the air. It's nothing in a regular movie, but for a Friday the 13th movie to actually hear what's going on it's enlightening. It's refreshing.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it is.
Sorry.
No, it is.
I'm nerding out again.
No, it's all right. Nerd away, man. One of the things that obviously I'm watching all of these now, most of them for the first time, except two of them.
You poor soul.
Yeah. They're all good from here, Brian.
Oh.
Well, wait till we get to the next one. Eh?
I'm talking about the ones you haven't watched yet.
Oh.
Are you in for a treat?
Yeah, I'm busy that day that we're shooting that one, by the way.
Oh man.
Just going through these, one of the things that I bring to them as I'm watching them is like the rules that were laid down or were kind of observed through Scream, through the first Scream film.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is the thing that happens in a lot of these slasher films where the killer comes back for one last scare when they're supposedly dead. And there's a scene when the sheriff...
The shotgun.
The sheriff keeps shooting him, and he's dead, and he comes up, and he's dead. And the music that just goes with it, it's handled so well. It's
the best
really
use
funny.
of the F-word in that movie, too. When the sheriff just loses his cool and he pulls out his Magnum, he drops the F-bomb. He's like, just screw it, and then he changes guns. It's kind of a funny scene.
It's just, it's really funny. I like the use of the music in it. It's so over the top, but it knows it's over the top. It's doing it on purpose.
Yeah, and he does both arms. He always does two arms.
I said before that the sheriff was my favourite death scene of the franchise. It's not. It's my favourite death scene in this film. Wait till we get to Manhattan.
Oh.
I'll tell you my favourite death scene in that one.
Boxer?
Yeah. There's something that really I like, because these films are obviously from a particular time. One of the things I like noticing in them is the pop cultural references.
Oh.
And there's a little kid at the end of this who's wearing these Masters of the Universe pajamas.
Yeah.
And I had a pair just like them when I was a kid.
Oh, wow.
So it was quite bizarre seeing them.
I used to collect the figures.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He-Man, Skeletor.
I had the cat, too. The green cat.
Yeah, Battle Cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Many Faces.
I had all of those figures, and I was about 5 years old. I had the Skeletor figure, and I kept trying to pull the head off, as 5-year-olds do.
Yeah.
And my dad said, "Don't pull Skeletor's hood off, because all the dark powers will come out and get you."
Sounds like you had an awesome dad.
I was done. I was done with that figure from that moment.
Dark powers.
Just my last note on this film is Tommy's plan kind of sucks.
What? You mean that's not inventive?
He's just gonna put him back.
He's gonna set him on fire.
He gets, like, my understanding of this was that on some kind of mystical level, if you get Jason back to that lake, back in there where he belongs, then he becomes one with the fishes. I don't know, but
Aqua Jason.
that clearly doesn't happen.
It's like Tommy was saying, how can I kill him but make it look awesome?
But he doesn't even kill him. It's Megan that kills him.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like.
But the fire looked pretty cool. Going around the canoe.
One other thing I would like to just say about Tommy in general is that they do, as I said before, they do try and make him the Jamie Lee Curtis of the franchise. Mm-hmm. And why I don't think it works is because it plays out in such a way that Tommy's kind of made this personal. He's made it all about him. Like Jason is after him. This is a personal thing between him and Jason, and Jason doesn't have this at all. Jason would. Yeah. He'll kill everyone.
Like, I'm not searching for you.
Yeah, he's literally like.
You just happen to be at Crystal Lake every time I'm there.
Yeah.
You're at my house. Get out of my house.
This isn't like it follows.
I wouldn't get
this isn't like it follows. If Tommy got on a plane and went to Barbados or whatever, Jason ain't coming for him.
Tommy is like, it. That's what the problem is. Tommy's got it backwards.
And it's like, and it's not like they have this history either, this big history, because really there's only one movie before this where they actually have a history, because in Part 5 it wasn't even Jason Voorhees anyway.
I know.
It was some other random dude.
It's so funny.
and this film kind of acts like that film never even happened anyway. So I don't know. It just for him to have such an idea.
And I'll go even further and say the guy was dead, and Tommy goes and digs him up.
Yeah. Everything was good.
What a moron!
So we're all fine.
Oh my God!
Tommy, the hero of the franchise,
Tommy, what are you doing?
is essentially responsible for all the deaths that come after.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Tommy is really the killer, even though he doesn't mean to be.
It's just, he's such a lame.
Dig up a serial killer.
I gotta be sure, he says in the
I
beginning.
gotta be sure. It's like he digs him up and then he just runs out of the way and lets him loose.
But the best is Horseshack's like, okay, let's go. After they see the body, it's just like,
he doesn't even stay there to kill him. You know, he doesn't even stay there to kill him or confront him after he comes out of the grave. What does he do? He runs away. You know?
Shit, I put him back. Bye.
I'll see you guys later. Hope you guys make it.
I guess I was wrong, huh?
I know. Oh my God.
I think
Tommy is the biggest idiot out of the whole series. It just occurred to me. You didn't see Jamie Lee Curtis taking Michael Myers up.
Yeah, yeah.
But I digress.
Not it follows. Tommy follows.
We'll end discussion on this one by giving our grades. We'll also give our grade for part 5 because we forgot to do that. So
oh darn.
Part 5, guys. What are you giving it out of 10?
I'll go first, I guess. Jesus, that's a rough one. We never even talked about like what we like about Part 5, if we like anything. I will say that Part 5 does feel like it belongs in that first 1 through 8. So there's some fun to be had. I think it's got that whole camp feel to it. So for that, I'll give it about a 3.5 out of 10. CP's face.
2.5. 2.
All right, 2.5. Fair enough.
I'm with CP. I'm 2 on this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 or 2.5?
2.
2.
Okay.
2.
All right.
Part 6. Lee, go.
Oh man, I'd give Part 6 a solid 7.5 out of 10.
Who am I talking to when I give this score? Am I talking to a horror fan or am I talking to movie kids?
You're talking personally from your
10.
feelings about the film.
10. Nostalgia, everything. 10.
Tommy's an idiot.
Like I'm dead serious. Like if like I literally have a suitcase full of movies and like this is my last box of movies. It's in there.
Yeah.
It's literally in there. I'm not even kidding.
CP feels about Friday 6 like I feel about Halloween 6.
Man, Halloween 6, man. Oh. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I gotta watch it a couple more times, man.
I love it.
For me, I think if I was speaking directly to the Friday the 13th crowd, I would say this is the movie that you're giving a 10 out of 10. For me, as a cinephile, lumping it in with all of a cinema.
This better cross 5. This better cross 5. Okay.
I'm giving it a 6, which is at least 2 points higher than any other film in the franchise so far that I've given.
Even 4? Oh man, I think 4.
Oh, Lee, we lost you, Lee. We lost you.
I said I think 4 is better than 6, but they're really close.
No. I just think at that point in the franchise, 4 was doing nothing new, and for me, that's a big problem. Yeah. I think it was directed better than the previous 3. I think if it had been the second movie in the franchise, I'd have given it a much higher score. Actually, I think I gave that one a 4.5, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I'm going to have to go back and look at my scores, but
yeah.
You know what's funny? I think you don't have 6 the way it is without 5. I feel like 6 is what it is only because 5 was so bad.
That's a good point, CP. Like if 6 came right after 4,
yeah,
it would almost feel kind of disjointed. You know what I mean?
Right.
You need the goofiness and the crap fest of 5 to really say, oh, okay, this sucked. Let's go ahead and have some fun now.
Yeah. Because you're I don't think Paramount says, you know what, do what you want. If they're riding the success of 4, they're just no, do it this way.
Keep it serious. That's what they would say.
Yep.
Yeah. Good point.
Right.
Yay.
Part 7. The New Blood.
Carrie meets Jason.
Yep,
Mate,
Carrie meets Jason.
Seriously, I've got Carrie written down here. There's so many film references in this. Carrie, Terminator. What was the other one? There's another film reference in here.
Silent Rage.
Just Jaws.
Shawshank Redemption.
Even though it's a
There's a Jaws POV shot in this where it's looking from under the water, and it's literally Jason becomes the shark. But this film is terrible. This film is terrible.
Oh.
I will give this film props for one reason and one reason only. In fact, there are a few little things that stand out that are okay, but they're just minor things that really can't save this turd of a film.
Direct quote.
You can put that on the poster. The main thing that I think this film does for the franchise, which I think is carried over in the next film, I don't know about the next films after that, but certainly this one, is by this point it's realised that Jason is the franchise's hero. So if he is the franchise's hero, with each film we need a new villain. And that's what this film has done. And like I say, it carries that over in the next film. But in this one, the doctor, the psychiatrist guy...
Weekend at Bernie's.
He's clear. I was wondering where I'd seen him. He's clearly...
Wow, wait, Wonder? What do you mean? You got to know that right off the bat. It's Bernie.
Yeah, that's Weekend at Bernie's, man. That's
and his name is Lomax, for Christ's sakes. It's Bernie Lomax.
I've not...
Come on, Brian.
I've seen Weekend at Bernie's since I was like 12.
But his name is Lomax. That comes with you for your life.
That's great.
Lomax. Come on.
Great.
I know every Patterson in
Come on, Lomax.
Anyway, he's the villain of this piece. Of this film, he is the main...
He is. He definitely is the villain.
Jason is our hero, and they set this guy up so much to be the bad guy that we are literally rooting for Jason to kill this guy, like we haven't rooted for him to kill anyone. And we have rooted for him to kill many people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I think if there's one thing that the director brought to this, or the writers, whoever is responsible for that decision, I think they acknowledged something that needed doing. It was a good choice to do that, I think. That being said, the guy isn't written particularly well. His motives aren't really clear throughout.
Let's talk about his motives for a sec. Like, what does he want to do? Does he want to harness Tina's power or something?
What are his motives? Because
what does he want to do with Tina? That's what I want to know. It makes no sense.
See, I thought by the time we got to the end of the film, we would learn some kind of secret that he brought her. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this was in the film and I missed it because I fell asleep. But I think just. Did he know, and did he have the intention of her in some way bringing Jason back from the dead? Because what are the chances? Seriously,
I don't think so.
What are the chances of having someone who has the power to raise someone from the dead?
Yeah.
Being brought by their psychiatrist to this place where Jason lies buried. It's just
stupid that she can bring people back from the dead anyway.
It's the biggest plot contrivance I've ever seen in my life. And this is a franchise filled with plot contrivances.
Oh.
And this really takes the biscuit. But it's like, and her condition, they call her a telekinetic. Well, a telekinetic is someone who can move things with the power of a mind.
Yeah.
But she also has visions of the future. It's like they don't...
Listen. Don't muddle the issues with facts. We don't need any of that.
It's just like, look, whatever we need this girl to be in order to move the story along, we're going to make her be. Yep. So we're going to give her whatever powers we want whenever we want to give them to her, even if they make absolutely no sense whatsoever. And speaking of not making sense, when she raises her dad from the grave at the end of the film...
What the hell was that about?
That is the biggest...
Her dad comes out of the water.
Not only that, but...
Completely, like no sort of time has taken place, neither. He's all...
That was a horrible ending.
He's been down there longer than Jason was down there. And he's in much better shape.
What's he gonna do after he comes? Yeah, he's alive now. What is he just walking around after? Like they didn't really touch on that.
They never go back to it. Never go back to it.
Yeah.
And when we go when we start off in Jason Takes Manhattan, his body's nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
Again, continuity.
Just
who
needs continuity?
We don't need no continuity.
No, man, wait till you go from 8 to 9, Brian. Because 8, you would think, wait a minute. What are they going to do with Jason now?
We're not done with 7, though. Right?
Yeah, right. Excuse me.
Because I got some things to say.
I've got a note here on...
Lee's got a tirade, it looks like.
I got a tirade, but you go ahead, Brian.
I'll say this, and then you unleash your tirade.
I'll unleash the beast.
Melissa, the character of Melissa, the blonde girl, who's like she's a bit of a sex fiend, isn't she?
The whore?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When I was looking at her, and this has absolutely nothing to do with her acting ability whatsoever. I looked at her and I just thought, blonde Amy Adams with no talent.
Yeah.
She reminds.
Are you talking about the short-haired girl?
Yeah. The blonde one. I just think she's got a look of Amy Adams. But if you think of Amy Adams but blonde and having absolutely no talent, that's
she just died of cancer too. Like I think in 2011 or something like that.
Oh.
The actress, she died of cancer.
Rest in peace.
Not to bring everybody down or anything, but.
Brian talks about her crappy acting, and you can tell by.
I know.
I feel really bad now.
Too.
Go on, Lee. Unleash your tirade.
Okay. I look at 7 as it's one of those, like, out of all the Fridays, to me, 7's like the start of, like, so bad it's good to me. And plus, I got a little bit of nostalgia bug in me on this one because this was, like, the first Friday I saw in the theater. And to me, I think it was refreshing that at least they had Jason have a worthy opponent at the end, like because they wanted Freddy and Jason to get together, and it wasn't happening at that point. So they said, "Hey, let's put Jason against Carrie," pretty much which is what they did. And I remember I did have a really good time with it when I saw it in the theater. Looking back on it now, it does have a lot of problems, but I get to like the guy who's like the science fiction as a star mummy. It's just got some moments in it that I do like, that I find fun. And you can pick it apart, and I'll agree with you completely. But at the end of the day, I'm having a good time through it. So that's my tirade.
Yeah.
I do like the way. Oh, let me talk some more. John Carl Buechler, the director, he actually had a cut of this movie that's a lot. There's just a lot more gore and blood in it. I think that probably would have made it a better movie. But the MPAA just completely neutered this movie more than any other Friday movie out of the whole franchise.
Yeah, did Japan get that cut?
No, that footage is lost. Like, it was the footage after a few years, they just completely trashed it, I guess. Yeah. So it's lost forever. But I guess there's a lot of good practical effects scenes that he did that are just gone. Like, we'll never see it. There's like rough footage that you can see, but yeah, it's pretty much gone. So he really was just, I guess he said there was a producer, a new producer on there, and she was just roadblocking him with everything. And they didn't like each other. And
right, man. Cuso wasn't around anymore.
Yeah. Mancuso would at least go to bat for him, whereas he was just back was against the wall, and so that's why all the kill scenes, like before the money shot, it's just cut, and it takes you out of the movie.
That's something I noticed about this. Is there's so many scenes where you see Jason going whoosh, and then nothing. You
don't see the result.
It's just it was like it had been made for TV or something, the TV version of it.
Well, this was the height of, the parental guidance sticker was printed around this time, so there was a bit of a, backlash for whatever. Damn, I had something to say and I forgot.
Jason was really good in this too, actually. Kane Hodder. This is his first movie of the bunch.
Thank you for reminding me. For as much as people say Kane Hodder, Kane Hodder was in 4 of the worst Friday the 13th movies in the entire. He just happened to do 4. Like that's the. I like C.J. Graham. I love Ted White. Listen, Ted White's
my favorite.
But people talk about Kane Hodder like he's God. He just did most. He just did more than everybody else.
Who was it who did the 3rd film?
He just died recently. Richard Brooker.
Yeah, Richard Brooker.
I liked the physicality of him in the 3rd film.
Yeah.
Well, Kane Hodder, let me defend him a little bit. He
adds breathing to a dead Jason. This is Kane Hodder Jason.
Not just that though, but he also does like little movements here and there. I think that at least he thinks ahead to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to try to do something with this character. I'm not a Kane lover by any means. I think he's good. I don't think he's great. Like Ted White, I thought was great. But at least Kane does have some little nuances, I think. And I'm not gonna lie. When they did Freddy vs. Jason, I thought Kane Hodder would have been a much better Jason because the other guy, all he did was just kind of lumber around.
Yeah.
And Jason was lifeless in Freddy vs. Jason. I thought.
Yeah.
So I got to give Kane Hodder some credit. I think seeing Kane go off against Freddy, that could have been a damn good fight.
I think I'm going to split the difference between you two because I like the physical mass of Kane Hodder. That's intimidating, although it doesn't make sense when he's kind of a mostly decomposed body. But that scene that that idea that CP was just talking about, this when you see the breath coming out of him, that I thought the exact same thing when I saw it. I thought, what? He's dead. He's not breathing. He doesn't need to breathe.
Yeah, but there's supposed to be like a spirit or some kind of entity in Jason.
Wow.
Something's bringing him alive. You know what I mean?
In part 6, they always say about people that don't speak and are behind a mask. They have this thin line that they have to walk because you can't really emote anything and you can't really. C.J. Graham, there's one scene where he's looking at, in part 6, there's one scene where he's looking at the boat, not the boat, the trailer, and the teens are having sex in the trailer, and he gives this head tilt like it was just
like
completely bathed in innocence, like what's going on in there, and it was so subtle, but you got it. You got that he didn't know what was going on. He was kind of confused. He was curious, and I felt like something like that spoke volumes for.
If we're going by that mentality, if you're that innocent, then you could probably get angry a lot quicker than a mature person. So that kind of fits with the way Kane Hodder, he got angry because, I guess he had all this crap falling on his head and his brain was getting... So I can understand why he got angry. But I think, I think it's good to at least try to do something with the character than to just walk. Kane Hodder, at least he thought he loved that character enough to think, okay, what can I do to make him interesting? And like him or not, a lot of fans do like Kane Hodder.
No, a lot. And you know what?
A lot of fans love him.
Give them is the fact that you'll buy the fact that he could pick just about any one of them up and throw him into a tree because he's a big dude.
Yeah, he is, and he's not even that tall, really. He's only I think he's like maybe 5'7", 5'8", something like that.
Stocky. He's all he's wide. He's not tall.
Yeah, that's another reason why I think he would have been a good opponent against Freddy because they're similar in stature at least. But Kane's, he's beefier, but still, the other guy looked like a freaking tree.
Yeah,
It's like Freddy versus the Ints.
Yeah.
And that's really what he was. He was a tree. He didn't really do anything. He's getting stabbed over and over in the chest and the legs. Spears are going through the guy's legs. What does he react like? He reacts like a tree. He just stands there.
Oh yeah, when Freddy shoots the little, I don't know, those canisters up, and Jason just kind of moves out of the way. Whoops! Here one comes. Whoop! Look out!
Guys, come on, let's save the Freddy versus Jason.
Oh yeah, sorry.
All right.
Just a few more things about this film before we move on. CP just called out my favourite kill in this, which is the sleeping bag swung against the tree.
Oh. That's a good kill.
It was. It's actually when he's dragging her body off in it, and you don't know what he's going to do with it. It's actually quite unsettling.
Yeah.
And then when it whacks it against the tree, I laughed so hard it hurt.
Oh yeah. I saw that scene in the theater, and let me tell you, when that scene happened in the theater just erupted. Everybody went nuts. It was a great kill. It's still funny every time I watch that kill. It's one of the greatest Jason kills out there. It's not my favorite, but it's one of the best.
They are good movies to watch with a group of people that want to watch them.
Definitely.
I had a good time in 2009 watching the remake, but that's neither here nor there. They're good movies to watch with a group that actually want to watch them.
Yeah, I think my grades on each of these would probably be higher if I'd have sat in a room with you guys and watched them.
Yeah.
I think they are the kind of movies you watch with a few people and have a good laugh at and just kind of.
If you watch it by yourself, you're gonna have to be at least in a good mood, because if you're in just an okay mood and you want to just like criticize it, it's easy as hell to criticize it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's nothing. There's nothing really to chew on.
No.
Another thing in this film, in part 7. Where is Jason getting all of his assortment of weapons from? He keeps turning up in these random scenes that are strung together, and in each one he just has a different weapon that comes randomly from nowhere.
It used to be he would kill somebody that had the item.
Yeah.
Like, some guy's baling hay with a pitchfork, and Jason kills that guy. Now he has the pitchfork. But
he turns up with this big saw with a spinning... Where did he get it?
I don't know. They start losing touch with just anything. All common sense goes out the window at this point.
Well, there was one scene in part 7 where what was it, like a flag holder or something like that? Was the doctor like thrust it into the side of the building, and then Jason grabs it. That was one scene I remember, where he, how he obtained that weapon. The rest of them, I got nothing for you.
There's 2 final moments that I'll give this film credit for. Two things, two little things I liked. One is the vision that Tina has of her mother in the road when she's being killed by Jason.
Mm-hmm.
I think when she sees it in the headlights of the car, I think the way it's shot, it looks quite eerie, quite spooky. It's done pretty well, I think, because it's from a distance and you see the body flapping about. And the car gets closer until you see what's going on. I think that's handled pretty well. And the final thing, which I really loved, is one of the best explosions I've ever seen. Certainly. Certainly.
It's like Christopher Nolan directed that scene or something.
Yeah, that explosion is awesome. One of my favorite explosions of all time in any movie is from The Mask of Zorro.
I've never seen that movie.
Oh man, you should. It's really, really underrated. Cracking film. Sequel, not so much, but
no, the sequel's pretty bad.
Yeah, but the explosion in this is really good, just because there's wood flying everywhere. There's just they really blow that house up. Like
they should have put that on the poster. You know how they put critics lines on the poster. But great explosion.
when they're running from the house, I'm expecting an explosion. They've built that up, but I really thought it'd be like one of them lame kind of. Yeah. This is clearly shot for.
Freddy vs. Jason has a better explosion.
All right. Okay. Well, I'll get there when I get there.
All right.
Where? Wait, where?
Remember at the...
Oh, right. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything.
Yep.
I love the mind melding that was going on there. Just
me and CP, we like...
Yeah.
we
you remember the... oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking of fire in a house, and I'm like, wait, that wasn't an explosion. And I had to fast forward in my brain a bit. No, it's not that. It's yep. Okay. Nope. Okay. I got it.
Okay. Before we give our grade for this film and move on, is there anything you two would like to add for it?
I said everything I need to say, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. CP, we'll go with you first on this one. What grade are you giving this one out of 10?
I'm a fan. 5. 5.
If I'm eating chicken wings and fries, I'll probably give this movie a 6.5.
Wow, blimey.
Yeah, I enjoy Part 7. I do. It's one of the ones that I like. If I'm okay, I want to watch a random Friday movie because that's the great thing about Friday. You don't have to watch them in order.
Oh, yeah.
If I want to just go random, sometimes I go for 7. So yeah, I got to give it a 6.5.
Okay. Well, this was a bad one for me. But I do think it tried to do something. I think it tried new things. I just think they needed to work on the script a bit more, flesh things out,
it's neutered.
Yeah, so I appreciate what they were going for, but they fail quite miserably at it. But it's certainly not as bad as Part 5, which I gave a 2. So I'm going to give this one a 3. 3 out of 10.
That's why I love doing these with Bryan.
Yeah.
He just freaking fillets it, rips it wide open, and tosses the guts out.
You get reminded just how
you know that movie you love so much?
Yeah.
It's actually crap.
Yeah. Wait.
Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Really?
No, I wouldn't have it any
We
other way.
not have each other. It's fine.
Yeah, I love it.
I think of all the different genres, I think horror fans can take it more because they know what they're getting into.
They're watching for the wrong reasons too. It's not like
it's really the only genre where you will go in willingly knowing a movie is just going to be pure crap.
Yep. Just do good kills. That's all I want. Just good kills. Yep.
Yeah, I'm about to have a good time, and this movie's going to suck.
Yeah.
You don't do that with any other genre.
Right, okay. We'll move on to the last film of this podcast, which is Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Or in this case, takes a boat.
Yeah,
he takes a boat to Manhattan. Yeah, he takes a boat to Manhattan. My favourite shot of the film is the opening shot, because it has the bat symbol from the 1989 Batman movie advertised.
I noticed that too. I remember that.
When it comes on, I'm like, oh, I know what year this is.
That's the best part of the movie.
So, instantly it was dated right there. So, I love that opening. I love this opening in general, to be honest. It's a credit sequence. We've just got credits coming up on the scene, but we're getting a flavour of Manhattan, of what it's like to live there. We see muggers, we see the subway, we see a diner, we see druggies and tramps, and it really builds a picture of this place being like quite a seedy underbelly type of place. And it's watching this opening kind of got me excited for seeing, well, what are you going to do when you stick Jason in that environment?
Yep.
Imagine if they did that.
I know, wouldn't that be great?
Well, this is it. So, literally, the film I wanted to see was this opening, and then the last 15 minutes of the film. Yeah. Because everything in between that ain't that.
No, it's utter crap. It's an after-school special.
Yeah. It should have been called Jason Takes a Boat to Manhattan, because
Jason takes a boat to another boat, then to Manhattan.
Yeah, and Crystal Lake. How does Crystal Lake connect to what body of water that gets?
Yeah.
I did look this up actually, because that really screamed out at me. I was like, "This is a lake. How the hell did you get off with that boat?"
How does a lake connect to the? It's just.
But it does. I looked this up, and if you look at the definition of a lake, they can be connected to other, like seas and whatnot by rivers.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. However, I never really got the sense in this franchise that Crystal Lake was that kind of lake. But hey ho, whatever.
Yeah. We gotta get Jason to Manhattan somehow.
Yeah. But it's very convenient that we have this first couple that Jason kills. That we have the guy telling the girl the entire backstory of Jason for any audience members who haven't seen any of the previous films, and two, also just so happening to pull a prank on his girlfriend, one making him the biggest douchebag in the world, but two, also making it very convenient for Jason to get his mask back.
Retarded.
Throughout this franchise, there always seems to be so many really convenient plot contrivances right off the bat that one, either allow Jason to come back from the dead, and two, give him both his hockey mask and his machete quite quickly. So yeah, that is a fun scene though. I will say I kind of like those death scenes. What I like actually about this one, and it's been a progression over the past 3 films, is that Jason's body just keeps deteriorating.
Mm-hmm.
And in this film, he's really, really scuzzy.
Yeah, slimy.
Slimy is the word, isn't it?
Yeah.
And his skin color is like a tinge of green, too.
Yeah. I didn't like that.
It's just I didn't like it as a it kind of repulsed me, but I liked it as a creative choice that they went with. I like that. Yeah, you know what? His body's been down in the water. He's got plankton on him. He's got barnacles on him. He's got slime dripping from him. At one point in this film, he's crashed through he's punched through a door, and someone comes to it later, and it's kind of like an ectoplasm coming dripping down from the door. I like the design of Jason in this film. That's one of the strengths of it, I would say. What about you guys? What did you like about this film?
You want me to go first, CP?
Yeah, I gotta find it.
Okay. This is my least favorite. Yeah, it might be my least favorite. I mean, there's a lot of really bad Friday movies, but this is definitely down there. Because this feels, like I said earlier, it feels like an after-school special. It doesn't feel like, to me, it doesn't feel like a Jason movie. It just feels like a TV movie. You know what I mean? It feels completely neutered. I didn't like Jason was so slimy, and I don't know if we're talking about the ending, but I hated the ending. How he dissolves into a little boy. Yeah, I will say though, I did have the best time I've had with Part 8 was the last time I watched it right before I reviewed it, and maybe something clicked, and maybe I was in a good Friday mood, but I did have a good time with it. But I'd say it's probably even with Part 5 as far in quality. I do like when he gets to Manhattan though, but before he gets to Manhattan, to me, it's kind of painful.
Very.
I think it's a more fully realized film than Part 5. I think they knew what film they were making. It's just that it wasn't one we wanted to watch.
Yeah.
I do like when they get to Manhattan, because once we get there, we're kind of into the territory I wanted to be in. However, when we get there, Jason completely changes his MO.
Mm-hmm.
completely changes his MO.
He almost becomes a protector for a minute there.
Well, it's just like we discussed with part 6, the idea that Tommy kind of had ideas above his station, like, oh, Jason's after me. No, he's not. He's after anyone he can get his hands on.
Yeah.
Well, in this one, they have literally changed his MO. They make him so obsessed with getting these two people that he just passes.
Yeah, he follows them all over the place, and that's out of character for Jason.
The subway could have been so much better if they just followed.
That should have been a massacre. When he's on that carriage,
he could have just. Oh my god! It would have been like Michael Myers in Part 6 when he goes into the room.
Lee,
it would have been a slaughter fest. There would have been blood all over the place. But no, Jason's got to follow these two idiots for some reason.
Totally out of character.
Another reason why I didn't like this, because we talked about it earlier. That setup. The setup was so great. Right at the beginning, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a good movie. It's Manhattan. Jason's going to have a great time. Oh, wait, we got to wait for Jason to get on this boat. Oh, Jason's on this boat. So by the time he does get to Manhattan, you're pissed off. You know what I mean? And it's like, it was cool, but not really that cool. Yeah. So yeah, this movie pisses me off more than any other Jason movie.
Lee, he called the subway a carriage.
Yeah, I know. A carriage.
Silly Brit, it's a subway.
When he gets on the carriage.
Hey, no, the subway is the thing that the carriages move through.
Yeah.
The trolley.
Yeah. Jason meets Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, there's not much good. There really.
Yeah, it's just bad.
Kelly Hu's in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Kelly Hu, X-Men, X2.
It was quite funny seeing her there. She's also in Arrow, TV series.
Yeah.
It was nice seeing her there, but bizarre. Yeah, this film is really 80s. I don't like the fashions. I don't like the music. No. The end credits song, the song that goes on the end credits for this is terrible. We had an Alice Cooper song on one of them. That was part 6. Really good song, really appropriate.
Yeah, 2 hours.
The song at the end of this is terrible.
It's like slow and like all groovy.
Yeah.
Awful.
You know, they tried to skate around continuity with Jason. Listen, they aborted the whole continuity idea movies ago. But why? Like, if you're gonna leave him in the water and then pick up and have him in the water the next movie, why not have his getup the same? He has yellow gloves in part 6, and they're black by part 8. Now listen, I would say yellow turns to brown when it gets dark or whatever. He has a green shirt in part 3, 4. I guess you could call it that in 6, and then 7, 8. It's black. He's got a whole black getup now. Why change his?
It's weird.
It's the little things that bother me, but 1 through 6 are my babies, and you can say whatever you want from here out because I don't.
I do. Again, going back to my theory from the last film, we have another villain here. Man, I cannot stand this guy. I cannot stand this character. Hate this character. Just
annoying. He wanted to give everybody homework every time he saw him. He threatened them with homework.
It was so over the top. It was like they just really wanted to drill into us that this is the bad guy. This is the one we are most rooting for Jason to kill. And they just went really over the top with it. And by the time we get to the reveal about him having pushed the lead woman into the lake, I just want to get out at that point. And something I really hated about this film, which they've never done before, again, kind of changing his MO, but also changing just the way that Jason operates. He's in 2 places at once. They have this bit, and he's able to move like ridiculously fast. Like a few examples, we've got when he kills Kelly Hu on the dance floor. She's looking round. She sees him there. She turns her head, and then he's there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
what is that about?
Yeah, they've never done that with Jason before.
Yeah.
That you always see the path he's going to take to get
it's
to.
Like he can teleport.
Yeah.
Well, ever since Part 7, he has that in his system now, so he can move around ever since fighting Carrie.
Yeah, he absorbs their power.
And it's like he does it again towards the end where he's behind someone chasing him, and that person goes into a bit. Oh, it's the villain of the piece. He goes into that building and up the stairs, and then Jason throws him out of the building. It's like, how did Jason possibly get up there? It's like literally there was no other way he could have done it unless he teleported. It's like they completely changed the way Jason operates.
Does he have like a Batman grappling hook or something?
Yeah, it's just man alive.
But Jason has like a utility belt. Oh man!
I will say I do love the boxer guy in this.
Oh, best death in the movie.
Just pure comic relief. The first
Give me your best shot.
Yeah.
Not what you want to say to Jason Voorhees.
The idea that he just takes it that whole time too.
Yeah, he just stands there and says, "Okay, go ahead."
This
guy's killed everybody before him, but he's going to let him give him his best shot? What a moron.
The first boxing match you see him have with that other guy is the lamest boxing match I've ever seen in my life.
It's horrible.
Then, like I say, you have this moment where he's just really slugging into Jason, and you see him just getting tireder and tireder and tireder, and then at one point he swings and he's not even hitting him. It just looks like a joke. It looks like a scene
punching a fiberglass match
I was just gonna say,
with his bare fist.
What an idiot!
What a moron!
But yeah, that uppercut and he takes the head off. Best death scene in the entire franchise for me.
You've had about 5 of those now. You've had best death in franchise about 5 times. And
I corrected myself earlier. I liked the sheriff one being turned over, but I like this one better. Another thing I do like about this film is the ways in which they build Manhattan up to be this really sleazy place. There's a moment on the carriage where there's an advertisement, and I had to really read it to see what was going on, but it's an advertisement for giving blood, and it's a picture of this guy, and underneath it says, "Please, my little girl needs blood." But somebody's drawn over the poster, and they've drawn glasses on this guy and like a tash or something, and it just kind of shows you the level of disrespect of the people.
I never caught that, Brian.
Oh, you've not seen that?
I didn't see that part.
Seriously, check that out. When Jason's chasing after them through the carriage, there's a poster on the right, and it's a poster for people to give blood. They want people to donate blood.
Yeah.
Someone's defaced it, and it tells you all you need to know about this city at this point in time.
New York.
But I mean, since then, obviously, New York has been cleaned up immeasurably.
CP?
Yes, I can attest to that. Yes, Times Square is not. There's not hooligans listening to a radio in Times Square anymore. It is. You literally can go visit, and you don't want. If you're in New York, you don't want to be in Times Square for totally different reasons. But yeah,
isn't Times Square a little bit more crowded than that too?
Oh, it's a tourist trap. It's the last place you want to go. It's just you go there to take pictures.
Yeah, that's it.
It used to be you go there to get relieve some stress for maybe real cheap, but but not anymore.
What do they sell, peanuts or something?
Yes, they sell peanuts.
Really good peanuts.
What we got?
Roasted nuts.
Another thing I hate, and this is a directorial thing. This really should have been nipped in the bud by the director.
God bless you, Bryan.
Yeah.
There's
Talking
so
about
many.
a director.
There's so many close-ups of like Jason picking up an instrument that he's going to move, that he's going to kill someone with, and it's literally like, this is it. The hand comes in shot, you see it picking it up, and it slowly moves out so you can see what it is he's picking up. And it's like, if Jason seriously moved that slow most of the time, everybody would be okay, because he would never reach them. And this is
it was like directed on autopilot or something.
This is
no
not the
thought in the
same
direction
guy.
whatsoever.
It's not the same guy who's teleporting by the end of the film. And it's also, it really is student filmmaking level ability, because when you go to film school and students are making first films, the first things they usually make is either a really dodgy horror film, or certainly in Britain at any rate, a really dodgy gangster film.
Yeah.
And the biggest mistake student filmmakers always do is hand acting. Like when they they cut from a wide to a close up of a hand picking something up, and rather than just filming the hand picking something up, they go, slow it down. We've got to play it up for the camera, and it just sucks balls.
It's a cliche.
But so many times in this film that happens, and it just...
See, I feel like it just comes across... Somebody like Scorsese does stuff like that, and it's just in the way you do it. I mean, Scorsese, like, literally... like Shutter Island, I really noticed he was over the top with coverage. You know, the finger pushing the button, the light bulb turning on, the lock unlocking. It's strange how direction is. Maybe it's just speed. But
well, he had I think he had a purpose behind it too, because in Shutter Island, it's about everything being kind of frantic, and I think he had a purpose behind it, every little nuance, that to keep you on edge.
Scorsese does stuff like that. He gets a lot.
You're right though, man. He gets away with it because he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Same thing with narration. Scorsese gets away with narration because he knows how to have an actor narrate a movie and keep you interested. Whereas most directors, when they have somebody narrating a movie, it's a cop out. You're not showing me anything. You're just telling me everything.
Sorry.
We're talking about good movies now.
Yeah. So back to crap.
Yeah. Right. There's a. Have a look. I've got a few notes left, but I don't really need to go into them, to be honest. I think the kid Jason.
The end.
The end, yeah. The kid Jason, I think, is actually genuinely creepy. I think when we see him in the headlights of the police car, that's quite a creepy moment. But again, I don't know why during that scene when Jason whips off with the police officer, and then we cut to the front of the car, and he's like miles down the road in front of the car.
Yeah. I
don't understand the geography of this film at all.
There was no point to it whatsoever, really.
So bizarre. And I again, going back to the boxer, how stereotypically black does he get when they come into New York? When they get to New York, and he's like, "Wow, Daddy's white!" He gets so high pitched and so blacker than black that it's just unreal. But I love the guy. I love the character.
The whole movie is just a cliche. It really is.
It really is. He's the best thing about the film.
Even the rocker, she just looks like every '80s hair metal
looks like
rock video.
Every female guitarist Michael Jackson ever used is her.
Exactly.
The one who clearly isn't playing that guitar, you mean?
Yeah.
Not at all.
That first scene we see her in, where they mask it better in the second one because they don't show you her fingers. But that first scene when you see her playing that guitar, she ain't playing that guitar.
She ain't playing no guitar.
No. Yeah, we get some random crazy lightning towards the end when Jason's killed. We get this cutaway to the Statue of Liberty, and there's just all this crazy lightning. And I'm like, what's that all about?
The demon forces of Jason are taking over and turning him into a small child.
Maybe Ash is coming in from the Evil Dead or something?
with the assistance of toxic.
What are your thoughts on that child? Do you think he actually turned into a child then, or do you think it's like some kind of metaphor that they're saying Jason is, I don't know.
Well, it wasn't directed properly, because if it was directed properly, then you would think that it was a symbol of something, it was symbolic. But no, it was directed to make you think he was actually a child, completely stupid.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the next film in the series isn't going to deal with that at all.
No, not at all.
No.
Continuity.
Nope. He ages.
There's no continuity here.
I love when
Just
he's got,
so I know.
the ugly face and he's all "mommy" and he's just like coughing up the water. It's just a strange scene. It was just show ugly stuff for the sake of showing ugly stuff. And you have this little.
The next one actually might be pretty interesting for a discussion. Jason Goes to Hell. It ain't good.
Jason Goes to Hell is the one that as a teenager I always liked the poster of.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, but I liked the poster.
The silver mask.
It's different, man. It is way out there. It's really different.
Am I right in saying that? I mean, I've not even seen it. I may as well just wait until.
Yeah, I don't want to tell you anything, but yeah.
Are you right in saying what? I'm dying to know what his question is.
Am I right in saying that in one of these, maybe Jason Goes to Hell, we get a scene towards the end where Freddy's glove comes up and grabs the mask?
Yes, you're right in thinking that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay then. Well, we'll end there. We'll give our ratings. Lee, you go first. What are you going to give this film?
We're going to give it a solid 2 out of 10.
Ouch.
Wow.
Yeah. I do not like Jason Takes Manhattan.
Ooh.
At least I could have fun with Part 5. I didn't have fun with Manhattan. Except for the end. That's it. But then I got pissed again.
CP?
3.
Okay. Well, again, measuring this by the others that I've really panned in the series, I still don't think this is as bad as 5. I think it has its moments. It has some enjoyable moments in it. The boxer character, the last 20 minutes, despite the fact that Jason's character entirely changes.
Yeah.
I think there is some fun to be had here. I just think all the stuff on the boat, you just want to get there faster. So it's undoubtedly a bad film. I think it holds it together a bit better than 5 does. Like the last one, I think I'm going to give this a 3. 3 out of 10.
It's not going to get much better from here, I'm telling you. Unless we cover the remake.
Freddy versus. We're doing Freddy versus Jason in this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I'm
We
expecting.
got 4 more to go.
So it's gonna be I think we actually could get lower because 10 is depending on what you're interested in. 10 could be a.
I will take Jason X over Manhattan though, any day.
I did actually watch Jason X. I only remembered earlier.
There's some fun to be had in Jason X.
Yeah.
You just got to take your brain out of your head. Well, if you take your brain out of your head for all these movies.
I don't remember liking that film at all.
Yeah.
So
it took me a few watches to really appreciate it. It is considered like a cult classic, actually, right, CP? In some circles.
Yeah.
People really like Jason X.
There are people.
I'm not in that circle, but I'm just saying I can at least have an amount of fun with it, you know.
Yeah. There's a couple of cool deaths. There's a moment. There's a moment like. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk about it in the future, but.
Yeah. I almost like Jason X more than I do the remake.
I do remember.
Bite your tongue, sir.
I hate the remake. We'll talk about that when we get there, but yeah, I cannot stand the remake.
I do remember when Jason X came out that a lot of people said, "Oh, finally, the franchise is back on track." That's why I.
No, let's not jump to conclusions.
That's
First
why
major film to be shot completely digital.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow, that's cool.
Take that.
Wow. From my memory, I remember it being terrible. So we'll see what happens.
You are right.
When we get there.
It is terrible.
But yeah, that's it. That's part 5 to 8. Just want to thank everyone who's been watching. CP and Lee, if you want to just direct people to your channel and tell them what you might be working on at the moment, just to entice them in. Lee, I know you in particular are working on something at the moment. But yeah, just give shout outs for that. Tell people where they can find you. Lee, go first.
Okay, yeah, I'm Drumdums. I am actually working on my Nightmare on Elm Street. I just did part 2, so it's been a long time coming too. It's been because I spent 5 months on the Friday movies, so now I'm finally at the Nightmare movies, and I had a blast actually reviewing Freddy's Revenge. So I'm getting some good comments on that, and I'm actually gonna do. I think right after this, I'm gonna sit down and record a review for Crow City of Angels. That was just something that's popped up last night. I was like, I think I want to review this. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. But yeah, you can find me at Drumdums.
CP.
So I guess I got quiet long enough. So going back to the drawing board, there's a roast coming out on the 7th
Yeah.
of Blu-ray collectors, and I'll probably get all that heat back.
Yes. Finally.
Yeah. For everybody that left, come on back. You have reason to come back and give me more hate. That's coming on the 7th. I recorded, shot it. It's gonna happen. So it's coming.
It's coming.
Now, will I like it review? Sorry.
Yeah.
Nice one. Guys, thanks for joining me. It's been a pleasure talking, and we will pick this up again next time when we do, the last 4 remaining films in the franchise.
Yeah.
To everyone out there, thanks for watching.